Postal Service honors music icon Sarah Vaughan. Vaughan was one of America's greatest singers, successful in both jazz and pop, with a talent for being able to improvise and skillful phrasing, and she had a voice that ranged over several octaves.
Sarah Vaughan to me is the singer of the world.
The most divine, sassy person I've ever met.
I got rhythm, I got music.
Well, she was a true jazz artist.
I got daisies in green pastures. I got my man who could ask for anything more.
Newark had a thriving jazz scene at that point. I mean, a really thriving. Hundreds of jazz clubs here in this city. So she was sneaking into Newark clubs as a teenager.
Sarah Vaughan was very much part of that creative movement.
We didn't know how great she was. We just knew that we loved her, that we were moved by the sound.
Love a man, oh, where can you be?
And there was just something about her. When she sings, we'd be in Argentina or we'd be in Bolivia. And people, I could see the emotions on their faces when she'd sing a song, and it was the same emotions as the people here in the States who understood the words. That one I never could quite figure out. Because I asked one guy in one of the countries, and the guy said he can feel her. They could feel her heart, they could feel the soul.
There's this wonderful melodious quality in her voice, and that's it. Nobody sang quite like her. She had a great sound, and you can't describe a sound. It's just Sarah Vaughan.
You're not going to get a lot of argument from people if you say she is the greatest jazz singer that's lived.
She was a good improviser on stage. She would always do something unexpected. She was very intelligent about capturing the moment. Only jazz artists know how to do that. It's a gift.
She could sing anything.
Somewhere over the rainbow.
A lot of people say had she gotten the training, if she wanted to, she would have been an incredible opera star.
She could sing ballads like nobody. She could sing bebop. She could scat.
Some of my favorite tunes are the tunes where she scats a lot, you know. So, like Shulabop, just the name of the song.
Well, my favorite songs with her, I want to say all of them.
I think Misty is what caught me first.
Send in the Clowns, Dedicated to You.
If You Could See Me Now.
Body and Soul.
Sassy's Blues. I love the name Sassy.
The Divine One.
She was both.
The Divine One, to me, is how I would always remember her.
Boy, she epitomized that. That voice, when she got older and her voice got darker and she started using it with different orchestras and wider arrangements, it was divine.
The word I always used was angelic. Once she walked across the stage and started singing, my reaction was the word, so angelic.
I think it's fantastic. To lift this particular artist up is very appropriate, very timely, I think, and really a great thing to do. She is, she's a national treasure.
Send in the clouds.
The stamp art is an oil painting of Vaughan in performance based on a 1955 photograph by Hugh Bell.
This is like one of those labors of love that you can only hope that you get as an assignment. I've done over 400 stamps for the Postal Service, so this is just really a thrill. we could really say, honestly, that not everybody is a jazz fan. I hate to say it, but it's true. So when Sarah Vaughan was mentioned, it was like, that is my issue, that is my project. I love jazz. And so it was just an honor to be able to work with Bart Forbes, who is the illustrator from Texas. He's done many stamps, but he's also a lover of jazz, and I knew that going into it. So it was really a great thrill that Bart has a style about him, and he and I talked about what the stamp would look like, of course using Hugh Bell's photograph as reference. So it was a great joy to work on that project.
This is a glorious morning. This is a grand morning, for this is a day that the Lord has made. Today we celebrate life, we celebrate love, we celebrate music, we celebrate Newark, we celebrate one of the golden voices of her time. We celebrate Miss Sarah Vaughan. Of course, I hope all of you are smiling because I know Sarah today knows that America and the United States Postal Service are smiling down on her today. I'm Al Bundy, and yes, my name is really Al Bundy. I'm the vice president of the Newark Performing Arts Center, better known as Symphony Hall. And for just a little, I want you to forget about your troubles. We've had enough bad news. For a little while, we're just going to celebrate some good news. So on behalf of our talented board of trustees, on behalf of the superstar staff that works here at Newark Symphony Hall, I just want you to be welcomed. And I just want you to know that you're in a special place, named in honor of the Divine One herself. You're in the Sarah Vaughan Concert Hall. So be welcome. She actually performed on this very stage on many of an occasion. So for a little while, be welcome. Sit back, relax, and just be at home with us for this commemorative celebration.
It is so great to see so many of you out here on this great occasion. We want to thank you so much for joining us today for the dedication of the United States Postal Service's commemorative Forever Stamp, honoring the Divine One, Newark's own Sarah Vaughan. So it is a pleasure for me to be your host today. I am indeed from WBGO. In case some of you don't know, we're at 88.3 FM. Yeah. I was so excited when I was asked to MC this ceremony because I have always loved Sarah Vaughan ever since I can remember. She was indeed a legend, and she was blessed with a voice, the most beautiful tone and expansive range, and she had complete command of her instrument. Her vocal artistry was really beyond compare. And when Sarah Vaughan sang, she created magical musical moments, and millions all around the world fell under the spell of the Divine One. And the fact that she is being honored with a commemorative Forever Stamp is absolutely thrilling for all of us who love her music.
With the harmonies of a difference a day makes. It is an outstanding day indeed to pay tribute to Sarah Vaughan, the daughter of our wonderful city, and to see her face on the U.S. postage stamp forever and ever, marking her in the history of this country. And as a representative of our great city, I would like to present a proclamation on her behalf. I'll just read the last three parts of it. It says, whereas Sarah Vaughan lived at 21 Avon Avenue in Newark until moving to Inglewood and continued to sing and perform around the world for decades with Sending the Clowns as her signature song. She died on April 3rd, 1990. Her funeral was held at Mount Zion Baptist Church, and she was buried in Glendale Cemetery. Whereas Sarah Vaughan was one of the most titanic performing artists in American history, described by the New York Times as a singer who brought an operatic splendor to her performances of popular standards in jazz, and a member of the Grammy Hall of Fame and New Jersey Hall of Fame. More importantly, she was one of Newark's greatest native daughters, an inspiration to an entire city, a symbol of our excellence. And whereas, as mayor of Newark, I salute Sarah Vaughan as the United States Postal Service recognizes her life, career, and legacy by unveiling a commemorative postage stamp at Newark Symphony Hall today as part of the events honoring the 350th anniversary of our incredible city. Now, therefore, I, Raz Baraka, Mayor of the City of Newark, hereby recognize Sarah Vaughan, and I urge all residents, employees, and visitors of the City of Newark to join me in this special tribute to Sarah Vaughan, Sassy, the Divine One.
The stamp we are about to unveil is based on a 1955 black and white photograph taken of Ms. Vaughan by the legendary photographer Hugh Bell. This photo appeared on Ms. Vaughan's album After Hours. We believe Mr. Bell took this striking shot in Atlantic City at Club Harlem on Kentucky Avenue. Kentucky Avenue had a swinging jazz scene at that time. Ms. Vaughan would frequently sing in New York City and then drive down to Atlantic City and sing and relax with friends at Club Harlem. Painter and illustrator Bart Forbes converted the photo into a beautiful oil portrait, while art designer Edith Kessler designed the stamp and the stamp pane. On the stamp and the pane, Ms. Vaughan is surrounded by a midnight blue background. Her eyes are closed, her head is tilted back slightly. The artwork expertly evokes the rich tones of Ms. Vaughan's voice and captures her sultry stage presence. The right side of the stamp pane lists some of Ms. Vaughan's most popular songs. The first song in that list is Body and Soul. As many of you know, Body and Soul was the song Ms. Vaughan sang on that October night in 1942 to win Amateur Night at the Apollo Theater, which propelled her legendary career. So on behalf of the over 500,000 men and women of the United States Postal Service, today, March 29th, 2016, we dedicate a forever stamp honoring one of America's greatest singers, Miss Sarah Vaughan.
It's been said that New Jersey, New York-based vocalist Carrie Jackson rekindles thoughts of America's great jazz history. She credits her vocal style of singing to her mentors, the great ladies of jazz, Ella Fitzgerald, Nancy Wilson, Billie Holiday, Dinah Washington, Carmen McRae, and of course, Miss Sarah Vaughan. As a matter of fact, Carrie recorded a beautiful album in tribute to Sarah Vaughan. And like Sarah, Miss Jackson began performing in her church choir. At the tender age of 6, she sang in the children's and young adult choir at Mount Calvary Baptist Church here in Newark. She also appeared with the WWRL Gospel Choir and went on tour performing throughout the United States and the world. Abroad, she has performed as an actress and dancer. She's performed for live radio and television, musical theater, including the musicals Ain't Misbehavin' and Nonsense. and she is certainly one of the most visible and sought-after singers in our area. Please welcome to the stage Miss Carrie Jackson.
Thank you so much, Rhonda. I just have to say it's truly a blessing being here today. You have no idea. I am so overwhelmed. I have loved Sarah all of my life. As far back as the age of 5 years old, I was singing Misty. And for the past 15, 16 years, I've been doing an annual tribute to Sarah Vaughan at the Priory in Newark. As a matter of fact, I just did a concert this past Friday, and a lot of you were there. And I always remember her birthday on March 27th. I also remember her passing April 3rd, 1990. Newark was at a loss. From Martin Luther King Boulevard to Broad Street to North Newark. And I was there at 6:30 in the morning, one of thousands. So to the Vaughan family, I say thank you. And we are at a loss. Today I have working with me Mr. Radam Schwartz on piano. Isn't it rich? Are we a pair? Me here at last on the ground, you in midair, sand in the clouds. Isn't it bliss? Don't you approve? Me here at last on the ground, one who can't move, sand in the clouds. Where are the clowns? Just when I stopped opening doors, finally knowing the one that I wanted was yours, making my entrance again with my usual flair, sure of my lines, no one is there. Don't you love farce? My fault, I fear. I thought that you'd want what I want. Sorry, my dear. And where are the clowns? Send in the clowns. Don't bother, they're here. Isn't it rich? Isn't it queer? Losing my timing this late in my career. And where are the clowns? There ought to be clowns. And where are the clowns? There ought to be clowns. And where are the clowns? There ought to be clowns. Thank you.
Miss Carrie Jackson, ladies and gentlemen. Miss Carrie Jackson. Thank you, Carrie.
Thank you.
Wonderful performance. And now we'd like to welcome another great artist to the stage. We're going to hear a personal tribute from one of our very special guests. Diane Reeves's breathtaking virtuosity and improvisational prowess and unique jazz and R&B stylings has made her a world-renowned vocalist. Her latest release, Beautiful Life, won the 2014 Grammy Award for the Best Jazz Vocal Album. And by the way, that was her 5th Grammy Award. She will be in concert tomorrow night at Carnegie Hall, but she is here with us today. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the one and only Diane Reeves.
Good morning, everybody. How's everybody feeling? Because I know I am on top of the world. I'm so honored to be here to celebrate someone who opened doors for many possibilities. I remember when I was in high school and I really started listening to her. And I would play albums like Michelle Legrand and Strings when she did that album, and Sarah Vaughan with In the Land of Hi-Fi, and all of these great records. And I remember I would pick up the needle, and because there wasn't any rewind, we're talking about records. And my father would holler from the other room, "Stop doing that," but I knew exactly where to put it every time to be able to hear. In 1975, I had the opportunity to go visit a cousin who was in the music industry, the great George Duke. And I was in high school at the time, and they were doing a tribute to Cannonball Adderley during the time that I was there, because he had just passed away. And all these jazz musicians came to pay homage to Cannonball. And George let me just be a fly on the wall, and I was backstage, and there was this woman sitting on the sofa minding her own business. And I walked over to her, and I said, "Hi." And she said, "Hi." She said, "What's your name?" I said, "Diane Reeves." She said, "What do you do?" I said, "I sing." She said, "Well, who do you listen to?" I said, "Sarah Vaughan." She said, "Really?" I said, "Yeah." So I started telling this woman all about Sarah Vaughan, how she sang this song and that song. And a guy came by and said, "Sass, you got 5 minutes?" I kept talking. And then finally he said, "Sass, you're on." And this woman stood up, and I looked at her because, see, the records that I knew, she didn't look like the records that I knew. And my heart just went to my feet. And she just stood up and kind of looked at me like this and walked onto the stage, and I walked right behind her, standing in the wings. And she sat down on that stage, and that was my first master class. She held the audience in the palm of her hand, and it was when I understood that, you know, a voice is an instrument, and she defined and refined her instrument. She knew what it could do, how to make it soar into the high heavens and go deep into the deepest ocean. And I felt all of it. And I remember that when she walked off stage, I was nowhere to be found, because I was a little embarrassed. But more than anything, I don't even remember the rest of the tribute, because I went and I sat outside because I had to think about what it was that I just heard. It was so rich and so beautiful. And from that point on, every opportunity that I had to go to my school of Sarah Vaughan, I would go and sit in the audience and listen and learn. The shore was kissed by sea and mist tenderly. I can't forget how two hearts met breathlessly, with arms open wide. You held my heart inside. You took my heart. You took took my heart, you took my heart. So tenderly. A forever stamp is an appropriate stamp because her voice will last forever. I hear it in the voices of a lot of really wonderful young singers, Jasmia Horn, Cecile McLaurin-Savant, Shah Renee Wade. They're all out there. They're all feeling her, and she's living in their spirit. One good thing is jazz vocals are in a very, very good place. Thank you for invited me to take part of this, and Sarah Vaughan forever.
Well, this is one of my most treasured stamps. Sarah Vaughan is a music icon. It is a woman whose music I love. And so this is a personal tribute for me and an honor for me to be here, honoring Sarah Vaughan on the stamp.
The stamp is, for me, an affirmation of not only Sarah Vaughan, but the spirit of people in Newark, and a further affirmation of the U.S. government recognizing jazz. That's what it means to me.
I'm Carrie Jackson, and I am a jazz singer, and I am from Newark, and I'm so proud today, and I thank the U.S. Postal Service for doing this for Newark. Sarah Vaughan was an icon. I loved her, and I just feel so thankful. I was so overwhelmed to be a part of this, and I thank everyone so much.
I'm Kristal Hart reporting from the Sarah Vaughan Theater here in Newark, New Jersey. Hope you've enjoyed the show, and thanks for watching.
And where are the clowns? There ought to be clowns